Hi and welcome to Treadwells bookshop. We are in Covent Garden at 34 Tavistock Street, and we sell the esoteric and occult literature along with comparative religion and Western occult traditions. I'm Christina Oakley Harrington, and I'm the person who's here most days and does most of the washing up, as well as hopefully giving some advice on books. So welcome. Over here we have the things that are not the books. Here's our herbs and herbal magic section. We have some items from the hoodoo tradition, which is a North American magical tradition, and then we have the herbs and incenses and ingredients for Western European magic and British Isles traditional folk magic here. Most of the magic of the British Isles is like Western European magic, based on the 7 planets. And so, for example, I think we're all familiar with rose being good for love, but it goes on from that. So if somebody wants to do a love spell, they're obviously going to be given rose petals from our selection. So if somebody was going into a situation where they needed passion, assertiveness and strength, let's say going in and asked for a job rise, we would probably prescribe them something like Damiana. Damiana is sacred to the planet Mars, and Mars is about martial energy. I think if somebody was going into battle, we might give them that as well, but we're pretty peace-loving, so we're just going to imagine it's for, for a job, something like that. And then here is often these herbs will go into either a potion, or they'll sometimes be made into a bag that's carried, or a sachet that'll go under a person's bed or be carried in their handbag, and so the herbs sometimes go in with that. The other thing that we have in our herb section is the incenses, and this is a great tradition that is shared by lots of religions, including Buddhists and Catholics, but the incense tradition is going strong, and a lot of our customers make their own, so we sell the ingredients for that. And we have some of our favourite blends from wood moss traditional herbal incenses from ancient recipes. So go through the shop. What are we looking at here? We sell hand-bound books of shadows. When somebody becomes a witch, they copy out their favourite spells and their workings, or if they're in an initiatory tradition, there's set material they need to copy out, and we sell hand-bound leather books for that. Also, ceremonial sword. This one's a reproduction of a late Romano-Celtic sword by the sword maker to Her Majesty the Queen, the Wilkinson Company. Carrying on through the shop, here's our little alchemy section, and Enochian and Abramelin and John Dee. This is from the great period of the 13th to 17th centuries, which is really a heyday for European magic and angelic workings. So they get their own special bookcase here. We move on back here. Here we have a first edition of Gerald Gardner. Gerald Gardner was the founder and really bringer together of modern Wicca in the 40s and 50s, and his High Magic's Aid is a real classic, very, very hard to find book, and we have a signed copy here with us. And there's always the paraphernalia of what magicians and occultists and pagans need for their ceremonies. And so everything from drinking horns to runes, and most of our stuff we get handmade, or sort of old or quirky in some way. We're not a great one for the mass produced. So that's a little bit about kind of our ethos, is that we're here for real practitioners and real people. Excuse me. Just grab that. We're here for practitioners and people who have a sincere interest, and so most of the things we get are either books we like and we've read, or things that are made by people we know, or things that we ourselves would wish that we could take home with us ourselves. So we have to like it in order to stock it. Favorite sections, and one of our most popular sections, is the Chaos Magic section, and for those of you who are into it, you'll know the names like Pete Carroll, Phil Hine, Dave Lee, Julian Vane, and Jack Hawkins. And we were really delighted to have Jack Hawkins speak here, not least because she's a woman chaos magician, and women in magic often get a bit overlooked, and she's out there in the front writing about chaos magic and also how it's evolved today. Some of the older generations of chaos magicians have gone on into different directions. I know Phil Hine, for example, works a lot with Indian Tantra, and that grew out of his chaos magic practice into something a bit more traditional. People like Dave Lee and Julian Bain have carried on in the experimental tradition and carried on working in innovative ways. And I think one of the most exciting developments has been where people pursue their experiences and continue being creative, and what comes out of that is synthesis with voodoo, synthesis with tantra, synthesis with sometimes folk magic. So you'll get workings like those of Andrew Chumbley and Zoanon Press, where the experimental mixes in with the native folk traditions. And some really exciting publishing projects come out of that work with Nostalgia and Spare and the Fulgur publications, all of which have their launches here, and Scarlet Imprint, Peter Gray's work on the Red Goddess, and goddess worship coming out of a sort of post-chaos tradition. They also, have a lot of their parties here, and so this is a place of some really exciting conversations and little magical sparklings in the air.